Welcome to Shrouded Secrets, the podcast where forgotten tales from the edges of reality emerge into the light. I'm your host, Elijah Freed, and I'm speaking to you alone from a quiet room in the dead of night. Here we explore stories that history tried to erase, the legends that refused to die. Tonight, we step in the frozen guts of World War II, the final desperate hours. We slip past the Allied bombs and the screams of dying Reich, straight down to the black heart of Nazi Germany's most forbidden Wonder Waffle project. This is no ordinary weapon. This is Die Glocke, the Nazi bell, a machine whispered to bend reality and time itself. Maybe even rip doors between worlds. One wrong turn in those tunnels, and reality itself could unravel. Picture the year 1944. Hitler's empire is collapsing under the steel rain from the skies. The Russians rush past the east and the Allies from the west. Yet, beneath the Owl Mountains in Lower Silesia, deep in what is now known as Poland, but was stolen by the Nazis, a secret labyrinth called Der Riese, the Giant, pulses with life. Miles of hand-carved tunnels lit by harsh floodlights, powered by the roaring generators the size of houses. SS General Hans Kammler, the ruthless overlord of all secret weapons, runs the show with an iron fist. His orders are simple. This project is Kriegscenter something delid. War deciding. I'll show the text on the screen in just a minute. Fail, and you don't just lose your job, you lose everything. At the center of it all, the bell, 9 feet wide, 12 to 15 feet tall, forged from a dull, heavy metal that drinks the light. Inside, two massive cylinders spin in opposite directions at blinding speeds, filled with a glowing violet liquid they called Xerum 525. Think mercury mixed with radioactive thorium and strange peroxides, stored in thick lead flasks. High voltage cables, thicker than your arm, snake in from generators. Then, when the switch flips, the whole thing comes alive. First a low hum that you feel in your teeth, then a scream that rattles your bones. A pale blue-violet glow fills the chamber. The air turns thick, electric, heavy with ozone and the taste of hot metal. Witnesses said it felt like drowning on dry land, like time itself was stretching and snapping. They tested it in a special room, sometimes chained to a giant concrete ring they named the Hinge. A circle of pillars still stands today in the Polish woods, looking like some ancient altar left by mad gods. They used animals, first goats, rabbits, dogs, and then they moved on to prisoners from nearby camps. The results were pure nightmare fuel. Bodies didn't just die, they came apart. Flesh liquefied, bones turned into jelly. Survivors bled from their eyes, ears, and mouths. Plants in rooms withered into black slime in seconds. Scientists who ran tests suffered from crushing headaches and lost chunks of memory and woke up screaming in dreams that never quite left them. One test killed several top researchers outright. The SS answer was quick and final. Line them up and pull the trigger. Secrets like this don't get out alive. So what in God's name was the bell supposed to do? Stories split into three terrifying rows. First, anti-gravity. The Nazis were chasing disc-shaped crafts that could hover and streak across the sky without wings or fuel. Flying saucers powered the bell itself. Second, and even wilder, a time machine or a dimensional gateway. The counter-rotating fields, the exotic matter, the way space seemed to bend around it, some say it let them peer into past, or shove matter forward through time. Third, the darkest whisper of all, 0 point energy. the infinite power hiding in empty space. If they cracked that, the war would never end. Hitler's scientists, men like Walter Gerlach, and maybe even echoes of Werner von Braun, poured everything into it. This wasn't just a weapon. This was an attempt to play God with the laws of physics. Listen close, because human cost hits harder than any explosion. SS Lieutenant General Jacob Sprongberg, the police chief in occupied Lulben, later spilled details during his war crimes trial. He described the Bell's final evacuation in the spring of 1945. They loaded the device, broken down and crated into one massive Junkers Ju-390 transport plane and flew it under cover of darkness. Destination, some say South America, others say Antarctica, where secret Nazi bases supposedly waited under ice. General Klamer himself vanished without a trace in May 1945. No body, no grave. Conspiracy voices claims that he traded the Bell's blueprints to Americans for free pass into Project Paperclip, the program that quietly scooped up Nazi scientists and gave them new lives in U.S. military. After the war, the tunnels of Der Reis were flooded and sealed. The hinge still squats in the woods today, weathered and silent, dismissed by officials as nothing more than old cooling towers. No blueprints ever surfaced, no wreckage, no single Nazi document even mentions Die Glocke by name. The whole tale stayed buried until the early 2000s when Polish researcher Igor Witkowski claimed he saw classified Polish intelligence files in Spornberg's hidden transcripts. British author Nick Cook lit the fuse with his book, The Hunt for Zero Point, weaving the Bell into stories of Nazi UFOs and lost energy tech. From here, it exploded across forums and documentaries and late-night radio shows. Skeptics tear it apart with good reason. Historians have dug through the mountains of captured Nazi papers, Allied spy reports, and survivor accounts from Reis's complex. Nothing, not one scrap. They say the story is built on a single shaky chain of second and third-hand claims. The effects sound like real high-voltage tests, early particle accelerators, or heavy water experiments that went horribly wrong. And that 1965 Kecksburg UFO crash in Pennsylvania, a bell-shaped object hauled away by military in the dead of night. Official story calls it a Soviet satellite. But the timing, the shape, the secrecy, it all lines up way too neatly for some. Yet the legend refused to die. Why do so many details match perfectly across people who never met? The involvement of Kalmar, whose disappearance is still undiscovered. The frantic Nazi rush into exotic physics in the war's last moments. The real Wonder Waffle V-2 rockets, jet fighters, guided missiles that shocked the world. In the shadowed corners of history, the total lack of proof becomes the perfect hiding place. If the Bell could twist gravity or time, maybe it was never meant to be found. Maybe its work continues to happen in back budget labs we will never see. Whether the truth, Die Glocke stands as a brutal warning carved in steel and blood. It shows what happens when brilliant minds backed by absolute evil chase power beyond human limits. In those final days as Berlin burned and the Reich crumbled, a handful of men in underground labs have brushed against something ancient and terrifying, something that could rewrite yesterday or erase tomorrow. If you've ever walked in overgrown paths near the Hinge or stumbled across declassified files hinting at exotic energy or family stories from SS technician units, please reach out. I would like to cover this episode a little bit more. Until next time, stay vigilant, and some bells don't ring. They open doors that shouldn't stay locked forever. This has been Shrouded Secrets. I'm Elijah. Good night.